This is my fault. We just thought we'd give a quick update on what we've been doing in some of the UKHASnet stuff, which I know some of you might be aware of. We did a presentation last year. We've been making networks with the aim of taking advantage of some of the sort of skills that we've got from doing balloons to make networks which have both applications in your home for sensor networks, but also a bit further afield. And it's one of those things where, in the same way that the conferences took a couple of years before we actually did a conference, we thought, well, let's just be proactive and do something and get together and have what we called a hack weekend. And so this is the hack weekend in a slideshow form by the UKHASnet people, because actually, ladies, we may have written this just now, this talk. So what was it? So it was a weekend in Southampton, Saturday and Sunday, though most of us arrived on Friday night. And the first day was hacking and building stuff, and we very luckily got access to one of the engineering department rooms at the University of Southampton. And then day 2 was a day out, and we went sea launching. And so there were about 10 of us, there were 10 of us of sort of some, I guess you could argue some of the core group of people who've been making these UKHASnet nodes, but also a few people that hadn't done any nodes. And yeah, basically on day 1 we spent a good amount of time just building stuff, various projects which are still ongoing, but with the aim of making something that we could throw in the sea. So yeah, what was the aim? To test mesh networking at sea. That was the aim. Really the aim was to build more nodes and throw things in the sea, but not litter the sea, just so you're aware. We were being very environmentally conscious when we threw things in the sea. So, what did we launch? Well, in the end, there were 10 of us, but we ended up only having 3 nodes that were in a situation where we could launch them. So we had AI3, which was a jam jar with GPS and a repeating node. We had P-Flotto0, or Flotto, as it pretty much got called what it is out there, which was a food container, you can see it here actually, which had a UKHASnet node sensor antenna, which is that little one there, and then we even tried 2-meter APRS. And then we had, I think it was MBB, wasn't it? Yeah, which was a water bottle, and this is a low power sensor node. And the point was to try different things out. The point was to rapidly prototype on Saturday, try a few different ways out. You can see here we've got doing different things in different containers, work out what works best or what works. So we did testing. This is Saturday, where we found the bathroom. So this was some of the early that's actually MBB there, which was the water bottle with the polystyrene float ring, inflatable ring, yeah, thing. And this was AI1, which was the mega node, which had GSM as well as UKHASnet. And you can see that very antenna guys, you love this. That's the antenna for the GSM, and then that is the 868. I thought it would work really well. And it's got EVIAN stabilizers on it. Okay, so we got out to sea, and we went out near Southampton, we went to Hurst Castle, which is the big spit that sits out into the Solent. We thought that'd be a good place to go. So we arrived in the morning. This is Sunday. We've done all the building the day before. Arrived in the morning, did a bit of last-minute soldering in the car, as you do, and when walked out along the shingle bank, and we got bored of walking, and we said, this will be where we'll launch from. So, oh, I missed it. Go back. So this is how we deployed AI3. Me, it's Estonia. It's Estonia, that's why. There we go. Blomp. All right, and then we get zoom in again. There we go. And then AI3, and then we're like, oh my god, it's survived. Or I think it's something like it made a really horrible sound when it hit the ground. Hit the water. So, unfortunately, oh, exit, you silly thing. Present. So one of the problems was that, as you can see, the waves are coming in. The wind is blowing that way, so it came back. So being idiots, we did it again. And we threw it about 6 or 7 times out with no success. So therefore, we said, screw this. So we found that throwing into the wind does not work for this thing. They blow back in again. So we basically moved around the corner. And I'll show you in a second as a map. But we went around the corner from Hurst Castle, and we launched from there. And we did it. And if you can see here, if I quickly come over here, so we were throwing out there, and it was coming back in again. So we went all the way around here, and we launched it. And this is the track of AI3 on the GPS, relaying back. And then we hoiked up a slightly higher node to keep relaying back. And the question is, did it work? And the answer is yes. For example, UKHASnet likes to repeat packets to each other. So we had SU5 on the beach, which then spoke to the one on the mast, which then spoke to the one floating in the sea, which then spoke back to the one on the beach again. And this is over a sort of quite a long range, 660-meter range. The problem was, we'd been messing around for so long at the first launch site, we ran out of batteries. And it was like 2 o'clock, so we decided to go to the pub. So our max range is 660 meters, but I feel that we could have gone further, because we were getting packets, quite a lot of packets. We had 264 packets between 3 floating nodes and 3 beach nodes. But as I said, yeah, time was thing. So yes, it was a good day out on the beach. So what we would do next, we'd do it again, I think, but with less wind and less sunburn, because I think I got really sunburned. More nodes. I think only one of our nodes had GPS on board. I think perhaps it would be great if we could have all of them had no GPS on board. It's quite easy these days to do. We found that GPS in the water was quite good. The jam jar was on its side, so it was actually floating really quite shallow in the water. Had no issues with GPS. We're going to work on some floating gateway nodes. The GSM one I showed you with the Evian bottle stabilizers, yeah, it doesn't go well in the sea. That just fell over. So we stopped that. But the point is we'd have some floating nodes out there. And we thought we'd actually get a boat next time. The first thing we did was we built a quadcopter relay node, which is awesome, where the node was attached to the bottom of a quadcopter, but it was so windy that we couldn't actually fly it. But the plan would be that the nodes are out there floating around, and we'd fly the quadcopter up, and therefore that would act as our relay back down again as well. Yes?
We've used a kite.
Yeah, and that's the other one. It was windy, why didn't we use a kite? Yeah, in hindsight. Yeah, but a kite node would be great as well on our list of things to do. So yeah, that was it. So that we thought we'd tell you about what we were up to. The UKHASnet stuff is still going on. It is just a bit of it's a bit of fun that we're working on as a project. We've got a lot. It used to be just we're using single RFM modules, which you may be familiar with from your balloon flights, but actually we made a lot of grounds recently with doing it all ourselves on particular custom chips and various things like that. So there's lots of scope for messing around. And I think the plan is to have a little demo later on if anybody wants to come along and see if they want to make some sort of home network, which can then be linked by balloon, kite, quadcopter, C-node, you name it. Yeah, give it a go. And that was my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
You don't really need that.
Any other questions for James?
Did you use the ARC69 modules for this test? Because I found out that I got these modules from you last year, 2 of them, and I found out that they couldn't communicate to each other continuously because they were shifting in frequency very much.
Yeah, so they are sensitive to frequency shifts, and some of the balloon tests we've done, we've found that they're really sensitive to, and we've therefore done a sort of a crystal oven kind of thing where we've heated them and they've been all right from that point of view. In the sea, though, actually, it wasn't too much of a problem. The temperature sensors on board were recording quite warm temperatures, so it was okay. But it is something to be aware of.
Do you think the floating node application makes best use of mesh networking?
Yes, it does.
And why?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. That was not planted, but it should have been. One of the things we found was that the nodes are quite small. We were trying to keep them quite small, and the waves were quite big. And what was happening was that they were roughly clustering together, but as a wave picked up, it would pull one of the nodes high, and the packets are very short, so it can transmit a packet in that short period of time. So we were sort of trying to take advantage of the fact that if one node was high and one node was low in the sea, you'd still get a relay of data back. So in some ways, the mesh networking helped because if one was in a good place, then we take advantage of that. So yes, I think it was a good thing to do, and it worked quite well. We certainly had data coming back and forth.
Had you thought about actually launching them in the river so that they went out? Maybe they wouldn't go out. You'd sort of see the motion.
Yeah, I think that's an. I think now we might be better suited to something more calm. but be able to track it out.
You could launch them by lowering them from a bridge.
Yes, yes, that's a good option as well.
There
Yes.
was a lot of fantastic hindsight in the pub at the end.
Yes, there really was, like sun cream. Yes.
Any plans for further weekends?
Yes, I think we had. It was quite ad hoc organised. Matt did organise the room. I think that was the key part, was getting somewhere a bit like this, somewhere where we were allowed to go, and we were allowed to solder as well, which was obviously a difficult one to get overcome because you know there are health and safety rules about that. But it meant that we could actually build stuff and on the time. Yeah, I think we were looking. And if people were interested, we could certainly do something else, do another one with the sort of same sort of format where you build something on one day and then we go and trash it the next day. Yes, yes, yes. That's a good point actually. They're quite good at it. That's what we should have done. Yes, Lawrence.
This isn't strictly UKHASnet related,
Oh.
but I was wondering if you had a floating sort of solar-powered buoy type station with iridium uplink and 434.868 megahertz sort of downlink, whether you could launch them in the sea and have some sort of network of floating pico balloon relays.
You see, wait, it is a UKHASnet. That's exactly the point. That is exactly the point, where we'd perhaps launch out a flotilla, as we would call it, and then we would launch a balloon and take advantage of the fact that it, float a balloon for a while and use that as a relay back and forth. Yeah, that's one of the aims. I think that's it, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.